Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. And we find ourselves down at the River Bann here, and we're actually in Portadown. And it's a nice day, a wee bit blowy, but the sun is shining. And there was actually a castle in Portadown, and it was called Oban's Castle. And Michael Obans, he bought the portion of land running down to the west bank of the Bann River, and Michael and his mother Prudence, they secured a patent for a fair and also a market at Portadown in 1631, which led to the building of the first bridge across the Bann shortly afterwards. Now, Obans built a large tower house and a bawn. Now, if you don't know what a bawn is the defensive wall surrounding an Irish tower house. And so he built this, and he settled about 20 English tenants on the land around it. And this was in the area of the present day People's Park in Portadown. Now, both Oban Street and Castle Street are reminders of Oban's Castle. And during the 1641 rebellion, the castle was captured by the Irish, and who were led by the McCanns, the McGuinnesses, and also the O'Neills. And in November 1641, the Irish rebels killed about 100 captured settlers here by forcing them off the Bann Bridge and shooting those who swam ashore. And there's actually a wee memorial here to that, and it's this wee memorial here. And that's to those who were massacred during the 1641 massacre in Portadown, which was during the 1641 rebellion. And so that wee monument there is to those settlers who lost their lives. And the settlers were in the process of being marched east from a prison camp at Loch Gall, and this became known as the Portadown Massacre, and was one of the worst atrocities of the rebellion. And it fueled revenge killings during the conflict that followed, and was used to justify the Cromwellian conquest of Ireland. Now, the Irish Confederate troops actually abandoned Oban's Castle during the Cromwellian conquest, and Hamlet Obans, who had survived its capture in 1641, he repossessed the castle in 1652. And Hamlet then passed it on to his son, Anthony Obans. And it was actually Anthony Obans who was involved with the development of the Newry Canal in 1741. And Anthony was succeeded then by Michael Obans in 1750. And it was Michael who set up a linen market in Portadown in 1762. And this then led to the foundations of Portadown's major industry. And of course, Portadown would become known as the hub of the north. And there you can see the present day bridge. That's not the original bridge, because that bridge there was actually built on dry land, and the river then was diverted. And so that's not the original bridge. In fact, there's been a few bridges from the original bridge, but as you can see, it's quite a substantial bridge. And it's got 3 large arches and 2 small arches. And so, although it's very peaceful today at the riverside, back in 1641 it certainly wasn't just as peaceful. And so there's a wee plaque up here with writing on it, and so I'm going to take you up and I'll let you see that. You can see the bridge well from here, as you can see, but there's a wee memorial plaque up here, and I'll be able to read this one out to you. And here's it here. It says, "History of Bann River Bridge. In the 1600s, plantation settlers from England and Scotland were granted estates from King James I. The Obans family from Portadown acquired the land from these estates, and in 1630, first record of a bridge over the Bann River was a wooden structure built by John Obens and Richard Cope. And then in 1641 it says, bridge was destroyed by Tool McCann during a rebellion when many settlers were drowned in the river. And then it says in 1682 the wooden bridge was erected. And then in 1708 it says wooden bridge rebuilt. And in 1754 wooden bridge swept away by floods. And then in 1763 the first stone bridge built, the 7 arches. And then in 1765 flood damage caused 3 arches to collapse. And then it says in 1786 further flood damage, a 13 arch stone bridge was constructed. Then in 1833 granite bridge with 3 large and 2 small arches was built on the present site on dry land with the river diverted underneath it. And so that's this bridge here. And then in 1922 it says Portadown Urban Council widened the bridge, and in 2005 further widening and restoration of the bridge by Department for Regional Development. And so there you go, that's the history of Portadown, the 1641 rebellion, and also the bridge, as well as a wee bit of history of the castle. And as you can see, Portadown is a very busy wee town, so it is. But I'm going to take you across the bridge here, and as you can see it says Bridge Street. And so this is the actual bridge that we're coming across now. And as you can see, Bann Bridge. And so we'll give you a wee view from the bridge up the River Bann. As you can see, beautiful. And certainly Portadown has a lot of history behind it. And so I hope you've enjoyed our walk today along the Bann River. And if you enjoy the channel, then please like and subscribe. God bless.